Once again, I'm Brice Davis of BriceDavisMedia.
I'm Marcus, otherwise professionally known as the Barber with the bow tie. Some of the homies call me Floss. It just depends on where we meet.
Okay. We got some topics to talk about. And the first one on the list is street niggas, man. What qualifies you to be a street nigga, and what makes young men want to become that? Because we know that it's glorified in the music. You know, you hear it all the time. Real street nigga. You know, the songs always talking about it. It seems to be what everybody strives to be in the black community. Not everybody, but, you know, the lost ones at least. You know, we all been there before. So, you know, let's talk about that for a minute.
Respect. Well, you know, I think for real, just on some basic shit, I think, you know, the street is the hardest place to come from. You know what I mean? The street. I mean, literally and figuratively and technically. Concrete, you know what I mean? The street is the hardest thing to come from. So to represent something so hard, man, and to win at it is, I think, why it's glorified. You know what I mean? Like back then, like once again, we share age difference. So I remember back in the days when they made movies to glorify the pimps. Not so much the drug pusher until the 80s, but 60s black movies, they were glorifying the pimps and vigilantes who were taking pimps now. You know, the streets, you know, to be able to make it from the mud, you know what I mean? That's the term nowadays, straight from the mud, you know what I mean?
Getting out the mud.
It means to be it's just an accomplishment to overcome something that's so hard, if you know, just off the top of my head, man.
And to me, you know, I believe that we've always had role models that we looked up to, you know, back in the 80s. You know, you had the A-Team, you had Mr. T, and, you know, just somebody that represented a male role model. You know, we had wrestlers, we had all that. So I believe in the black community, what we deem as the alpha, which is you know, who all the girls want to be with, who all the guys want to be like. We always glamorize what the rappers were, and that's being a street nigga, somebody that just follows a code that's, you know, supposed to be integral.
Let's break it down for real. Let's break it down. I mean, because what are the elements of a street nigga, quote unquote? Because you know, the conversation in the shop was, you know, there was a young lady who says you see it on social media, and we try to bring out topics straight from the barbershop, you know, so, you know, we come in with things that are already talked about, and we bring to y'all to see what you think about them, you know what I mean? So, you know, she says she'd rather a street guy than a book smart guy, you know what I mean? Or it would be perfect if they could be both, you know? So she articulated a street guy as being somebody who can handle his business physically, you know what I mean, and get to the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You pretty much described Mr. T, you know what I mean? He was Clubber Lane in Rocky 2 or Rocky 3. But strength and security. So to us as black folks, because we were, you know, isolated to the ghettos after a while, the guys in the ghetto were the guys making it in the streets, from street hustles, you know, selling drugs, selling pussy, selling liquor, running numbers, you know, the best guys.
You know, with you, especially being from the West Coast, you know, one thing we heard in songs a lot was, this is for the G's and this is for the hustlers.
Right.
So then that makes me wonder, where do we draw the line between a hustler and a gangster, and are they both street dudes, like, or is just the gangsters? You know what I'm saying? Because anybody can sell drugs. Like,
well, I think off the top, if rap is saluting it, it's definitely street.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's a great point, though.
Yeah.
That Snoop, this is for the Jesus, because there are two different types. You got hustlers. Yep. So, and being from the West Coast, I think it's, well, I can only relate to growing up in LA. So I'm gonna say it like this: you had the G's, the hustlers, and then you had the athletes, the A's. You know what I mean? You had cats that played football, cats that play basketball that the gangsters and hustlers would invest in or at least protect because they knew. You know what I mean?
They knew they had potential to get out.
Right. Yeah. So they still was from the hood.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They still they wasn't necessarily in the street, but we was in the street because you was recognized by the homies. You know what I mean?
Right.
And protected by them. You know what I mean? So G's is gangsters. Them niggas had a different incentive, and hustlers had a different incentive.
Yeah, I feel like when you have like a hustler's mentality, the way you think of things is, every day I wake up, I gotta turn the scale on. But with that comes violence typically.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe you got people who ain't street that can hustle. You might know some kids in college, like they sell a little weed or they sell whatever.
But that would be technically street, wouldn't it? What qualifies someone as street?
Shoot, that's what we trying to figure out.
I mean, because a white boy could come, just like a black dude from the suburbs can come to the hood and adapt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Does it make them street? Yes or no? Does it, or do you have to be born? Did you have to start there? You know what I mean?
So I do believe that if you're out here hustling or doing anything of that nature, that's part of the underworld, then most people do, expect you to abide by a certain code of conduct. And that's where it gets a little messy at. Because like I said earlier, anybody can pick up a pack and do something with it. That don't make you a...
Well, I mean, do something with it. Well, I mean, it don't make you what?
Yeah.
I mean, because I know a lot of dudes. I know a lot of dudes who came to college and became hustlers. You know what I mean? Now their parents is educators, officers, affluent people, but they're black. They grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
They're at a black college and they're portraying maybe what their brother did, or maybe they did that shit back home too. I don't know. I just know what I seen when I came here, and it was a lot of brothers selling weed, selling cigarettes.
And on top of that, the standard for what makes somebody street is set so high, because if you look at it, all the rappers that talk about it, or you hear the critique, oh, he ain't street. It can be a rapper that we know, his whole career based off hustling. I'll just say like a Jeezy or somebody like that. You got somebody like Gucci Man that'd be like, oh yeah, Jeezy ain't no street nigga.
Right.
And it's like, yo, Jeezy, whether you was in a gang, I don't know, gang banging at all, or, selling white and being part of that street life. If he's not a street dude, because Gucci Man said it, then what makes somebody
what
street?
Makes somebody street?
Because at this point, it seems like it's an unachievable status that the black community just chases. It's like an endless high.
Is it like a dog chasing his tail?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously though.
Yeah, because you can never. There's a minute that you do something that's not perceived as street, you're automatically, oh, he ain't that. He ain't really like that. And it's like, shit, you can be like that.
I mean, of course, we as adults, OGs, older men, we know, the struggle, man. And not to say the struggle ain't the same nowadays, because it's still some projects in a lot of hoods. It's still some ghettos. It's still poverty out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. We are removed from it because of our age and our current status. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Being professionals, being parents,
don't come at me telling me who's snitching about something. I don't care.
I mean,
that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right. Yeah. And snitching, that's the thing too, man. A lot of people got it fucked up. My understanding always have been, I hear kids calling each other snitches and that kind of stuff in the shop, and I be like, bro, do you even understand what that is? Because you can watch all mobsters. I think they made snitching popular. You know what I mean? Snitching is being involved in something. Me and you about to rob this store.
Yeah.
We get caught.
Yeah.
And I tell on you.
Right.
That's a snitch. But if I'm coming home from work with my 2 kids in the car and my wife waiting on us to return safely.
Right.
And I see the neighbor's house getting robbed, I'm calling the fucking police. Because I'm not only looking out for the safety of my neighbor's home, but I'm looking out for the safety of my neighborhood. I don't want motherfuckers thinking they can just see my neighborhood and come up in there and rob shit when they feel like it.
You want. Yeah, especially with kids being there. And that's where the game definitely
my
gets
kids and my
at.
wife, my family.
Once kids get involved, all that goes out the window.
I'm not a snitch. I'm not even an informant. I have nothing to do with the game. I am a civil citizen trying to protect my property and my immediate and distant property. That's my property and my neighbors on both sides.
And that goes to say too, like earlier, how we said being a street dude is an unachievable status, or even maintaining it. The whole snitching idea of snitching is completely the black community. We definitely lost when it comes to that. We have no idea what snitching is. We just say everything snitching. Everybody's a snitch the minute they do something. Like, we're just too quick to label somebody that. Like, it's crazy now. It don't be paperwork involved. It don't be none of that. And, you know, people just run around and calling somebody that left and right. Kids get involved, and we think that that's like, kids is involved. I'm still not going to snitch. Like, all right, let it be your kid and see what happens. Like, you know, that's crazy to me.
I mean, I don't like the police, man. You know, they've never been a positive entity in my community. You know what I mean? My first run-in, and I ain't no criminal, bro. But my first run-in was perpetuated by an event that happened down the street from my house. But because it looked like I was suspicious, they jumped up. They pulled up in front of my crib and kicked their gate down just to tell me to get off the patio wall. I was changing the light bulb. They thought I was hiding some crack.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy, bro. I'm 10. I'm 10, though. No, I ain't even 10, bro. I'm 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
Oh, yeah. I've been stopped as a kid.
That's extra. That's extra, homie. Yeah, nah. Most communities don't use the police, for real. From what I'm learning as I deal with new clients and from different countries, different areas of the world, they don't even use the police like we use the police. Like, we should never have to call the police for a family dispute or a family issue. Like, you know what I mean?
Not at all.
And I mean, honestly, not even if a man is whooping up on a woman, the brothers or uncles or cousins of both sides of the family need to come together. I'm serious, bro.
Yeah.
You doing it again, bro? B, we told you stop putting hands on her, B. We told you stop putting hands on her. Bruh, I don't want to take, bruh.
Yeah,
you got to see us all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Since you bad, you got to see us all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And after we beat your ass, because the marriage ain't going nowhere. This iron sharpen iron.
Yeah.
Like, we going to make sure y'all together, and you going to change your ways to make, because you asked her to be your wife. I mean, this is how, in a fantasy world, I would like our community to handle our issues. You know what I mean? Police ain't for us, man. They never have been. And unfortunately, we've been disenfranchised since colonialism. So, you know, it's just one of them things where I don't know if this is the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning. I mean, because we're becoming more conscious now. We're having so much access. We have access to so much information. We can actually reconstruct our culture and our belief system and gear that bitch to, you know, a lawfully wealthy tribal-like heritage. You know what I mean? We can recreate.
That would be dope. You know, back in the day, they said it takes a village to raise a, child and all that.
Right.
As if we had that, but obviously times has changed. It's 20.
Yeah, niggas don't give a fuck about nobody else.
Yeah.
And I use that term as a poetic license for real, because I mean everybody, men, women, black, but generally when I'm referring to us, I'm gonna say, black folk, because that's what we understand us to be. You know what I mean? But when I say niggas, I mean everybody. We don't care. We are selfless. Everything's automated and introverted.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about that, though, about being introverted, because in today's society, being introverted is looked at a certain way. Because it's like, oh, you don't like to talk, so we just going to label you as like antisocial, like a social reject if you just completely introverted. But I do believe that just because somebody's introvert, that's not an excuse to just be by yourself all the time and, don't apply yourself. Because, don't get me wrong, I don't think you can, like, overturn your wiring. Like, if you're wired a certain way to, where if you're around a crowd of people and it drains you, like, I get that. But to me, it's not an excuse to be at home every weekend, playing on the computer, playing video games, just being a loser because you feel like, oh, I can't do that because I'm an introvert. Like,
right. So, man, listen, I'm no genius, but I think introvert and extroverts are just types of ways we coexist. You know what I mean? And a lot of times in this day and time, we live in a medicated society, man. We need medicine for everything.
Yeah, everybody's on antidepressants. Everybody's smoking to calm their nerves. And I feel like that's given out way too often. The antidepressant thing, like, I've been told you my stories.
Right.
When I was going through my treatment, someone is like, oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about, what I'm going through mentally, because if I do, you're going to put me on the pill and, that's that. And, I ain't trying to do all that. So it's like, oh yeah, you dealing with this? Like, yeah, I'm fine. It's the worst thing you can imagine. But, yeah, I'm fine. I'm cool.
Right. And respects to being introverted, I think that's just a way to allow yourself to not have to engage because of those things. You know what I mean? Like, because extroverted people gonna do the same things with somebody though. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a matter. I think we are becoming more of a complacent society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Society definitely rewards extroverts though. Like most jobs, sales jobs, like you gotta be social with people, because if you ain't, then you're gonna lose out to all the people that are. And there's plenty of people that are quote unquote introverted that can be extroverted long enough to get the job done. You're gonna lose to them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and that's what we get from the kids today. Like, and they know these terms. I don't know if I knew what an introvert was when I was 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I talk to the kids I cut, and they tell me these things like, I'm an introvert. I don't want
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're in a society now where mental health's a big thing. When I was a kid, mental health wasn't talked about. Can't go
mental health was a belt or a switch, and a punishment. That was mental health. That was how we healed your mental. You know what I mean? And if you, and we don't even use the term retarded anymore. It's mentally handicapped, I think, or what is it?
I don't even know.
Listen, I don't even know. But I know I'm not talking about autism. Autism is different. Right. I'm talking about the Down syndrome. Kids with Down syndrome. Yeah. I remember one of my mom's best friend's family, they had a kid with Down syndrome. One of the uncles had Down syndrome, and they talked to him like they talked to
I just thought about I've never seen a black kid with that.
Never?
Down syndrome. Not that I think I usually see the white, their eyes are mongoloidish. Like
right.
But no, I never seen a black Down syndrome. Now I think about, like I seen one I remember in school, because in school there used to be a room that had, people that was, had mental and physical issues. And,
right.
I remember seeing that, but you get the flu shot?
No.
Never
had the flu shot.
And they ask me every time, I'm like, man, I'm gonna save you the time. No.
Right.
No.
Flu, COVID, none of that.
Yeah.
Never had none of those shots. I'm cool. And I don't even like going to the doctor. But
obviously,
we know it's important. Yeah.
If you got some problem.
Right. I mean, don't get it twisted. I've never had to go to the doctor.
I get
At this age, I'm at the point where, we're trying to live longer and smarter. They talk about mental health is wealth, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I had my first and only prostate exam, and it was everything they said it was gonna be. It was a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like,
man, I seen Cam and Mace talking about that, and Cam said the doctor said,
I gotta tune in to them.
I don't know, the one at first he said they tried to do the one with the they put the glove on. And, you gotta bend over, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna come back. But then, they talking about, they put him to sleep and all that. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it done. Cause, Mace got it done. Right. I already knew Cam was about to be funny.
Right.
But yeah, once you get up there in your 40s, you get close to 50, especially black dudes, cause you know how we are. We don't like none of that. But it's you gotta get that checked, man.
Man, it's understandable. Like, I remember reading, actually, I remember seeing a PBS special about doctors who in America who were trained to believe that our pain tolerance was higher than regular people. You know what I mean? We used to be a part of so many experiments. So coming out of slavery, like all the shit they know about medicine, they got from experimenting on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why we don't trust the shots and all that.
Right.
You know about the Tuskegee Project and all that. We all know that they've been messing, you know, with the chemicals and, you know, so shoot, we ain't volunteering to jump in line to see what a shot does, the first wave especially. Like, if COVID would have stayed around for, like, shit, let's say, like, 50 years straight instead of the 2 years that it did, you know, it's like, sit back, see how the first couple waves go, because, you know, and that's worst case scenarios if it advanced into something even worse, and then it's like, consider it, but for the most part, yeah, we ain't trusting nothing that they give, especially for free.
Right.
That's why, like, the flu shot instantly was like, it's for free, and you're out, like, you're pushing it on us. Like,
right.
Yeah,
no, I'm cool.
You know, we don't trust that.
Then you might have a certain type of flu shot vaccine for the hood that you don't have for the suburbs. So I'm cool.
And in case you don't know, obviously, you gotta get you some elderberries if you know, feeling like your immune system ain't at its finest.
Elderberry and sea moss, man.
Sea moss, yeah, you gotta get all the natural joints, you know.
Tap into them herbal pleasures.
Yes, sir. Alkaline water, Dr. Sabi, all that. I know I went through that wormhole, and it just opened up the gates for me. Like, oh yeah, I got a lot to look into, so,
right.
You know. But yeah, this is episode 2, man, official episode 2. You know, we're done with the preseason and all that. You know,
right.
He's got their points in.
Right. You know, so continue to follow us, man, and be looking forward to some crazy shit because we're going to be keeping it 100 with you. We're going to be bringing you, you know, just personal delights, man. The Icons Barber and Beauty Salon, 313 Beauty Supply. We are the new neighborhood thoroughfare. Like, if it's not happening here, it's not happening anywhere. You hear me?